that sounds so much better than woohoo. Like that's what I'm doing. Woohoo! You're like, nah, man, pumped is so much better.
Pumped. Oh, we're live.
How long have you been in the IC? It's got to be over like at least a year and a half now, right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's my dog, and I swear the mailman only comes when I'm doing interviews.
Thanks.
Oscar, come on. It's like clockwork. Like anytime I'm live and on an interview, the mailman walks by, and my dog's
Perfect.
like, I want to eat him, or he wants treats from him. Yeah, I've been in. I think I joined at like the end of last summer, so like about a little over a year. Yeah, and I've got my for those of
the butt shirt. And what's funny is that's like version 1 of the butts. Like that was before I realized you can't just take images off the internet and use them. Yeah, you have to like have your own butt.
This is an original butt. This is OG butt.
We'll call those the signature editions, right?
Limited.
So awesome. And you're based out of LA, right?
I am, correct.
And what I wanted to do is I want to start off the interview with just you telling people where you were right before you joined the IC, because I know you had an agency, but I remember you and I were on the phone. I was walking around South Beach. You're like, I don't know if these cryotherapy places are calling everybody back. We got a franchise. One of them sucks. I don't know what to do. So could you talk about like your leading up to your agency, your job, your experience, all that fun stuff?
For sure. So my drive to start an agency. So I'm an actor and a writer living in Los Angeles. And for those of you who have friends in the entertainment industry, the classic trope is like, I'm an actor. And it's like, oh, cool. Which Starbucks do you work at? Because it's like or which restaurant do you wait at? Because, you know, even if you're doing well in your career, most people need some sort of a side hustle. So, you know, with writing, you don't get paid necessarily while you're writing something, you get paid at the end of it. So you might be writing something for months or a year and not get paid till you sell it. So even though I was doing well and I've, you know, been on a good number of TV shows and all of that stuff, I was still needing to have some sort of a side hustle and desperately wanted something where I wasn't going to be trading time for money in a very, not getting a lot of money for it because I was trying to keep it part-time, which is really important so that it doesn't, you know, take over what I was trying to support. So I'd done customer support for tech companies, was able to work from home doing that, but still it was like capped out at an hourly rate. You know, unless I was going to scale up to 40, 60 hours a week, I just wasn't going to be making enough. So I got into a friend of mine had gone through a Facebook ads course and had introduced me to it. And I had dove in and I just did everything possible to get clients. And in the process of doing that, I did not have like systems or structure or any of that stuff. I was just an all out, like, I'm going to do what it takes. Like kind of
you were hustling and you were grinding.
Yes. And it was working to an extent, but then it was like at a certain point, you have to have like a legitimate business. Oscar, enough, buddy. And he's
Does
like,
Oscar
really
want to come on the live? Is that?
I know that. I think that's what's happening. Oscar, come here. Come in. And so he's just ignoring me now.
Yes.
And so where I had found when I had met you and had been following a lot of your free content when you were like posting all those value videos on your page and doing all that fun stuff. And I was like, this guy has really smart systems and I like the way he yells at his clients. I too would like to yell at my clients in that way to make them take action. And so I, you know, had already, my agency was doing well in terms of like, I was at a good monthly amount, but it wasn't doing well in the sense that I was like doing everything myself. And I still didn't really know what I was doing, but I was getting enough results that people were staying with me.
Gotcha. Was Dan Henry the first course that you bought? Because that was the first course that I bought. There you go. Yeah. So Dan Henry's course, that was the first one. And he talks about like curious students and free trials and like just putting in the oomph, right? Which is cool when you're trying to get 5 or 6 clients, but then you start like spinning plate disease and everything goes to hell very, very quickly. And I think that was your experience too. You're like,
Yes.
great, now that I've got too much stuff and I don't know what to do with myself and everything goes to hell, right?
For sure.
But I think what was really, really interesting is your story about how you got your first client, which I think was that donut shop or that restaurant, right?
So donut shop, I did do the free trial thing with a lot of my clients, and that was like a hard ditch to dig myself out of in terms of then being able to like charge an appropriate amount. The donut shop wasn't one of my first ones, but it was actually one of my most fun clients I had. My first the thing that actually worked for me the best, I did cold emails, I did cold calls, I asked everybody I knew if they worked somewhere. And a friend of mine worked at this cryotherapy business. She was a secretary or like front desk person there. And I told all my friends, like, if you introduce me to somebody who becomes a paying client, I'll give you, I think I said like $200 or something as a referral fee. So I went and I did a free trial for them. And I had then like put into my email signature something that for any clients, if they referred me to 3 clients, I would give them a free month. So I just built in this whole referral system before I even really had a lot of clients. And what happened was it was a snowball effect. So I did a free trial that I did really great with this one center, and they really liked it. And then they immediately started referring me because they wanted that free month. So they then referred me to 3 other places and her husband's business. And then it was like, which was a completely different niche. But it was like, then it was like this snowball effect of like, I was getting them results, and then they were really excited to then introduce me to their friends. And so within like that one client signing that client, then in the same month, like ripple effect into like 5K more of clients.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. So all you did was ask, like, is just tell friends like, hey, if you can introduce me to a client, I'll pay you $200, right?
If they become a paying client.
Gotcha. And that first cryotherapy place, that was a free trial. Is that correct?
Free 1 week trial.
We're going to talk about how you transitioned from like a free trial into a paid like relationship later on. But let's just
say
you did it, right? Yeah,
I did
like,
it though.
That's the challenge with like free trials, right? And then your referral program is essentially just 2 lines on an email. Is that correct?
Yes, I just put in my email signature. And at this point, I didn't even have an agency name or a business email. It was just my regular Gmail. But I just put like in the bottom of it, like with like asterisks, like referral program, ! Refer me to 3 businesses that become clients, and I'll give you your next month free. And that was it. And then when they were like happy, I would say like, oh, well, you know about my referral program, right? And they're like, no, what's your referral program?
Tell me more.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, if you want to get your next month free, and they did, because everybody's always looking for something free. I was like, just introduce me to 3 other places. Well, they're part of a huge franchise. And so they were like, done. And so then they started just connecting me to people, and then and then the next people then connected me to people. And I was like, all of a sudden it just snowballed.
That's so easy. Like that's just so easy. Like literally, guys, on your email address, like, want to get a free month, refer me to 3 clients, or ask about our referral program, or like, holy crap, that's awesome. So with one free trial, you like, before you even know what to do with, you added effectively an extra $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 a month to your Facebook ad agency
in that month.
In 30, oh my, we should have made that like the slogan or the tagline. Like, holy
go redo
crap.
The graphic immediately.
That's so cool. I had no idea, by the way. Like, I knew that you grew through referrals, but I assumed it was some like complicated process. And it's like, no, it's just a simple 2 lines on an email.
Yeah,
just ask
and
people.
It's funny because now I've then since heard from then, like Rob Quinn says, well, the best time to make a sale is when you've made a sale. So like when you first make somebody is really excited right when they sign on for it with you, they haven't had time to like hate you yet. And so that's like the best time to ask, like, hey, do you have anyone else who would benefit from this? So it's like without waiting, like I think so often we think we have to wait till we get them like amazing results to then ask for a referral, when in fact it's like right away when you've sold them, they're sold.
Yeah.
So that's the time to ask.
That's so effing cool. I know this isn't on the bullet points, but I think it's super important because you and I both came from like a free trial and curious student background. That's how we got our start, and we know the
Mm-hmm.
pains and the problems that come with it, and how bad it actually is on making that transition. You got your first client using a curious student slash free trial. What was that experience like? Like, did you say it was 30 days, 7 days? Did you say it was 100 leads, 10 leads? Like, how did you structure your free trial? And then
Mm-hmm.
how did you dig yourself out of that hole? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So part of why I had joined the inner circle was because the hole I got into was then not charging enough.
Yep.
And I wasn't confident charging enough at the time because I still felt like I was figuring it out and all that stuff. And I've since overcome all of that. And I'm like, here's what
Because
I cost. This is what it is. Like, take
we're
it or leave
always
it.
figuring it out. Like that's just how it's gonna work. Everything is getting figured out as we do it. That's the nature of Facebook. Everything changes. Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, so I said a 1 week free trial was how I had set it up. And I'd done free trials. I converted other free trials like with a gym and stuff like that as well. So, but keep in mind, this was like the beginning of 2018 of last year.
Yeah.
So now it's like people are even more inundated with that. So that was like a little bit easier maybe at the time. But yeah, I said, here's a sample of working with me for 1 week. The thing that I tried to get better at was then pre-framing in the trial, like this is what it's going to cost when it's done, and this is what it
Yep.
should cost. And also trying to position like, well, I'm doing the free trial for you because this is my first time in this niche, but I'm experienced rather than I'm doing a free trial because I don't know jack shit. It was like, I'm doing a free trial for your niche, but I am already great at what I do. So I tried to like shift how I was positioning it, and that definitely helped. So it didn't seem like I was just like some newbie.
Just
But
free
then,
trials for everybody, right?
yeah, you get a free trial, you get a free trial. And then that transition is tough, but very doable, especially if you crush the free trial. What I would say, like now, Facebook ad costs are higher. I would not do only like 100 of ad spend. It would be too hard, I think, at this point. And you can't really do customer research either because you just don't have the budget for it. So I would say, like, if you are going to go that route, having more of a budget now, if you like to be able to actually like realistic be able to show results. But it's really important to get them excited. It's more than the results is that relational thing of like how you interpret what the results were. So whether they get 10 leads or 100 leads, like your excitement over like what a success that is what's most important, is that you're saying to them like, whoa, in a matter of days, 10 people want to come in and use your business. Like, that's awesome. And for a lot of people, like, that is. And one of the biggest things of why I ended up working with you was I was using your 25 onboarding questions from way back. Yeah, I was using that. So I at least had all that data when I was doing I was then, doing free trials, but I was using your 25 onboarding questions to like really dig into their pain points and stuff like that, because I just didn't know anything about sales. I come from customer support background. So my whole thing is just like, how can I help you solve problems? And then I had the framework of your 25 questions.
That's so cool. I'm so happy that worked out. That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So to go back and just kind of like quickly summarize, the way you did your free trial, right, was saying it's going to be a week long, 10 leads, hundreds. Like, how did you frame your first free trial?
Week long. And I think at the time I was doing like $100 to $200 ad spend for a week.
So what was that conversation like? Like you mentioned, like you got to be excited and motivated. Did you know that back then, where you're supposed to be like, this is crazy. We got you 2 people in a week and a half. This is the best. Like, how did you handle that? Like that excitement, or you didn't even know how to be excited with that, like free trial?
I think I was so scared. I think I did know to leverage the success of it. And I actually did crush the free trial. Like at the time, like I happened upon great ad copy the first time out of the gate. They'd been paying someone who'd been doing a terrible job at ads. So they were coming. So I just needed to beat that person.
Mhm.
And the results were so drastically improved that it was like, okay, guys, like you can either keep just throwing money at the wall for something that you can't track, don't know what, and that was a big thing for everybody that I've worked with is trackable.
Yep.
So many people, they were still doing print ads, like things like that. And they were like, I mean, I think people are coming in from that thing, but I'm not sure. And like that kind of, so like I was really able to like be like, this is trackable. So like
Yep.
you can fire me if you don't like the results, but at least we know what the results are.
So I think that's such a powerful statement. At least we know what the results are. And when I'm doing my pitches and I'm hearing a normal everyday mom and pop that runs a business, own a business, essentially like bitch and complain about what they hate the most, it's that they don't even know if it's working. And
Correct.
immediately on the fly, my pitch changes using those questions in the onboarding docs. Like, I don't talk about how we're going to make them a millionaire. I don't talk about how great the ad is. I'm going to say, look, at the very least, we know if your future clients want to buy what you have to sell. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
get any response, we can track that from the beginning all the way to the end. And we know the problem is with the offer. And we can fix
Mm-hmm.
that later on, which is like really, really powerful. But going back to
Mm-hmm.
you, like you did the free trial, they did the curious student, and then they see your referral program, they sign on board, and you essentially had like 5 or 6 franchises like within 30 days, right?
Yeah, it just ripple effect. And one thing too is a shout out to Mackenzie Lieberman because one of the biggest objections I had was they were like a lot of franchises aren't allowed to use external landing pages.
Mm-hmm.
Everything needs to be branded under the franchise. So they're like, so this is our biggest problem is we haven't been able to do that. And I had seen something about Mackenzie talking about messenger bots, and I was like, what if we can keep it all in Messenger, in
Yep.
Facebook? Are you allowed to do it then? And they were like, yeah, I think so, as long as it doesn't go to an external landing page. And I was like, great. Well, there's this new thing and I can like, I'm going to set
Perfect.
it up for you. I had never built a messenger bot in my life. I messaged Mackenzie and I was like, can I pay you for an hour to set this up for me? And I was paying out of pocket. It was a free trial,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like willing to invest in myself and my business. And Mackenzie helped me set up my first like basic lead gen bot. And it just crushed. It did so
Yep.
well. And it was so different than anything else, like any other person that they had hired before. It was so much more interactive and conversational with their,
Yep.
new customers. And for me, it was more comfortable too, because of I come from a support background, that it is that interactive back and forth, that rather
Mm-hmm.
than just like a sales page. So like
Yep.
even me writing copy in a messenger bot was so much more organic for me than doing like a funnel. So it just like worked for me in that way. And then that was also, they were like, so she does this new thing, this cool thing with the messenger bots, and like
Yep.
nobody's doing it. And it was able to like help me stand out from the crowd in terms of like all the other people that were inundating them with curious students.
That's so absolutely fantastic. Like that's such a cool effing story to like have everything like line up, work together, fail forward, come out winning. And all the while, this is essentially like your part-time gig, right? Like this isn't taking up hours and hours and hours of the day. It's a make sense amount of time, right?
For sure. Because while I was building my agency last year, I was in a new city like pretty much every other week promoting my film at film festivals. So I was
Yep.
like traveling around the country promoting my film. And my writing partner is actually now my business partner, David
Yep.
Storch. So we were like traveling around the country, and I'd be like, dude, I just need to sit in the hotel room for a couple hours and like finish my agency work before we go to that networking event. And I would like
Yep.
go and I would like be doing it, or I'd be sitting on the plane, get Wi-Fi, and I'd be like doing it. And so I was like able to be like traveling the country, promoting my film, which was my passion,
Yep.
and getting paid, to be doing that. And I also booked like one of the biggest TV jobs that I'd ever booked. And I just brought my computer and it was in my trailer, like for the film or for the TV show that I was working on. And it's just like during the lunch hour, I'd just like check in, or I'd have my phone and just make sure everything was like okay. But it was like I was working. It did not inhibit my career at all. It actually gave me this like different level of like confidence and energy that I think
Yep.
it's like work begets work. So it's like when you're functioning at that level, like other things just start falling into place, even if it's not in the same business,
Wait. While this was happening, were you filming that Christmas video movie trailer?
That's what we were doing festivals for. So we'd already filmed it, and we were traveling the
Gotcha.
country doing screenings, film festivals, networking, and all that stuff with it. And then I filmed this TV show with Paul Feig, who directed like Bridesmaids and Female Ghostbusters, Freaks and Geeks, and all like the biggest comedy stuff. And so I was like filming a TV show with him at the same time, and like all this stuff. So it was like things were going very well, like in my desired career while I was building my agency. And I was still able to like get results, keep clients happy, be communicative, and all of that.
That's fantastic. So let me ask you this, like, does like your acting background like help you land clients more confidently? Like is there a level of like ad-libbing, non-roboticness? Like how does being an actor or an actress like help you all of a sudden say, yes, that's going to cost you $2,000? You know what I mean? Like, is there a connection between those two things?
The biggest thing is listening and genuinely caring about solving their problems. So anybody could teach you like sales lines or frameworks to like add on top of that. But like, I would say the most powerful thing, because I didn't have any of that, like how I was able to scale my agency past 10K a month without any sales background is by like listening, being a real human being, and just like having like showing up as my most authentic self, being charismatic, just conversing with them and just trying to solve their problem and doing my best to do that. And so I found like in like strategy calls and like my monthly calls with my clients and things like that, it's like people just want to be listened to. Like they've been burned so many times by people being like, this is the way you should do it, and that's the way you should do it. And like they just want to be listened to. And so I found that's the most powerful thing.
That's absolutely fantastic. I mentioned earlier, I guess it wasn't your first client. I thought it was like this restaurant, donut, 100 people showed up, donut shop. Like I know absolutely nothing. And I just want to know how you got 100 people saying, yes, I want to buy a donut, because I drive like donut shops all the time, and they have to be a Mojo donut with like penis shapes and like whole things that like are like naturally attractive. And those are the ones that like driving massive amount of people. And I think you helped build something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So this is one of my most fun jobs that I've done is I actually, again, referral. So I have a friend who works at a donut shop, and he knew I was starting to do Facebook ads. And he's like, yeah, I think they're going to get like a billboard. And he was talking about like, you know, sending out these like neighborhood mailers. And he's like, so I don't know, like, you think you could be able to help him? And I was like, yeah, set me up with a meeting. If I sign him, I'll give you $200. And which is like a great incentive to your friends. And so he did. And I was able, this person, not even on Facebook, their business was, but he's like, didn't understand Facebook at all. And I was like, because I know they do a lot of donut days, do that like National Donut Day, everybody gets a free donut. And so I was like, so on those days, like, are you just giving away free donuts all day, or like, do you make money? And they're like, no, we make the most amount of money on that day. So I was like,
okay, all right, hold on. That is a great effing question. Like that is great from the onboarding docs. You're like, tell me about what you're doing. Is it already working? Do you want more of those results? Perfect. All right, go on. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was like, yeah, we make. So I was like, so if you give away a donut, do people buy something? Yeah. 9 times out of 10, nobody walks away with just one free donut. And I was like, and how much does it cost you to like give away a free donut? Next to nothing. Okay, cool. So if we promote that everybody who comes in from our Facebook ad gets a free donut, do you think they would buy other things? Yeah, they'll buy a coffee, they'll buy a donut for their friend, they'll buy a box of donuts for their office, things like that. And I was like, okay, great. Well, let's do that then. And so what I did though to add into it is I created, again with Messenger. So my agency shifted into being, I do all my stuff, all my lead gen through Messenger, but same principles as whether you do or don't. So I did a contest for a month that everybody who entered the contest would get a free donut. And at the end of the month, we would randomly select one winner who would get free donuts for a month. And so all of a sudden we got like hundreds and hundreds of people entering it in. And then it was like, and to redeem your free donut, you have to come in before the end of the contest. So you have to, so
Right.
there was like an urgency for it. You can't like save your free donut for a year from now or whatever. So I got tons of Messenger subscribers from this. And then we had like over 100 people because I created it, like they had to click to redeem it so I could track how many people came in.
Yep.
And it was like within that month, like, or yeah, like maybe it was a little more than a month, like over 100 people had like walked into the donut shop to get a free donut. And it's a neighborhood shop, and they didn't track the amount that people had bought, so we didn't have like a direct revenue from it, but they did say it was like all of their other free stuff where the vast majority of the time people were buying something else. And then the one person won free donuts for a month. She was super excited. And then I had this massive messenger list that then I would start sending out like every 2 weeks different promotions, and then those were no longer free. It was like some sort of like a buy a coffee get a free donut, or be the hero of your office this week, buy a box of donuts and get like a box of coffee for free, or like something like that. So it didn't necessarily have to be free
things the donut
anymore.
hero. Like that is so effing cool. Like you are not like trying to push donuts with that narrative. You're pushing build better relationships, be the office hero, give us money, and you're going to be happier with it. And they're like, okay, like your client is jumping up and down. By the way, I think what's so effing cool about like the way you structure that sales conversation, and I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but the impact was purposeful. If you go to like any business, you're like, hey, do you want to give away stuff for free? They're going to say no all the time, right? They don't want to give away stuff for free. But if they did, they'd probably make more money. So you have to like walk them through like every single steps with those types of questions that you just asked. That's how I get my bike shop to do free Sunday rides. Like, look, if a bunch of people are going biking with you, are you going to sell a bike? Yeah, I think so. It's been the single best way of getting more people to know about him and buy his $5,000 to $10,000 bikes. If I said, hey, I want you to spend $100 paying a guy to drive around town or ride around town, no, not going to happen. I can't do free rides. It's not going to happen. But like your string of questions, top notch, absolutely great. Very cool.
I used to get lost in the weeds trying to describe how everything worked. So I'm going to set up this messenger thing and it's going to be like this. And like, they don't care. Like, and so that's like probably been one of my biggest evolutions in how I handle sales now is I like barely talk about the how. Is I just talk about like the results that they want and like keep it on more of like an emotional level and like getting people through the door and what that impact would be and all that stuff. Like, and I don't get lost in the weeds of like, it's going to be a messenger bot that's going to then come from a Facebook. Like, it's just like, as soon as you start doing that, people are just like, yeah,
they're like, I don't care. And because you're trying to make me understand, I think I have to understand before I pay you money, and I'm not going to sign with you and not pay you money because I thoroughly don't understand this. And it ends up like spiraling the wrong direction. The more time you spend saying, so how would this positively impact your business if we got 100 people a month coming in? Would you make more money? They're like, yeah, okay, great. Let's do it. Let's take a next step. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think we accidentally ran through the entire agenda. And we still have like 30 minutes to go. All right. So let me go through this. Okay.
There's so many things we can talk about with agencies.
It's going to be so cool. So we talked about how you got your first.
Also, I think we ended up with there's like a lot of comments. I don't know if there's questions.
Apparently it's like donuts. Right? So we talked about like your experience getting like 100 people going into the donut shop, which is cool. We talked about the free trial and curiosity that got you the first cryotherapy. We talked about how you transitioned into a paid cryotherapy and got them to refer you like 5 or 6 clients by themselves. Were you running into any like very unique challenges with cryotherapy? Like are there offers that like work consistently? Is it like come in and get, I don't even know, like a free freeze? Like how does cryotherapy work on Facebook? Because I know free donut works, but I don't know anything about cryotherapy. You know what I mean?
Should I give away one of my biggest secrets, Jeff?
You don't
Should
have to.
I do it?
You don't.
I mean, I won't tell the exact of the how, but what I will say is that everybody is promoting the same amount of lead gen, and I don't do that. I pre-qualify and I deliver qualified leads, and it is the number one way for that. These leads are garbage, really? because here's exactly why they're saying they want to come in and work
Yep.
with you and why they need you. I don't even need to do a sneaky survey. I could just show you that these are your most ideal clients. So I would say, like, whether you are working with cryotherapy or you're working with gyms or like even a bike shop, what's the number one reason that you want a new bike? What's the number one thing you use bikes for, or whatever it is? Add some sort of pre-qualifying question, because that's going to set you apart from your from everybody else who's inundating these businesses. Is like, people don't just want a lead anymore. They want like a real life human being who's going to walk in their doors and pay them real life money. And so I would say, like, whether you're using messenger bots or lead ads or funnels or whatever it is, like, experiment with adding one more step of qualifying to it.
Yeah.
And that all goes in your spreadsheet or your high level or wherever you're tracking it. And it's going to show you it's going to show your clients, like, this is how spot on our targeting is, because this person's coming in for cryotherapy and they're telling you about how they had a car accident, have chronic pain in their back. So like, if you can't close that person, like, that's not on me. Like, we can talk about and troubleshoot your sales process, but like, you can never come to me and say the leads are garbage when I'm like showing you right here that this person has the exact problem that you're promoting you solve. So like, if you can't close them, like, there's a problem with your business.
I absolutely love that. That's like incredibly powerful. So if I'm understanding correctly, let's say we're running like a normal like car wash ad, right? Like $30, get the deluxe interior, exterior, all that fun stuff. And I can go to my client and say, like, look, you may be complaining to me right now that like there wasn't lead sales and ROI, the leads are no good and all it, and I understand that. But I literally have a form that these people go through before they even get a chance to fill out and get that voucher for $30. And on that form, I'm asking them questions, and I've got them all listed out right here. And it looks like, Mr. Johnson, that you wanted people that have Bentleys, Maseratis, and Ferraris coming in. And guess what? Bentley, Maserati, Ferrari. The problem ain't with me. The problem ain't with the ads. The problem's with your staff. Plus a sneaky survey and a welcome text and a callback, and like all of a sudden they're freaking out. Their front desk sucks or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like,
so it works for like, and it can be one question, and you might end up paying a little bit more per lead. But I would say it's so much better to pay $1 more to have a qualified lead than it is to just have like a laundry list of just name, phone number, email address that they're saying these people don't exist, or I only get voicemails, or, you know, these people don't even live in this state, or like whatever kind of like BS responses you get from agency or from business owners. So I would say that is like the number one thing that has helped me. Well, yeah, because that's the one thing we didn't dive into yet, was like client retention is my free trial clients are still with me over a year and a half later. So almost all of my agent, like, I don't do that much, like, between referrals and retention, I do almost zero outreach for my agency, and I'm been able to maintain it. So that, I would say, is like one of the biggest things, is like, I can always point back to the list and say, no, these are your ideal clients. And, you know, if you're having a hard time closing them, then let's have that conversation. But you can't pin that on me being the problem.
What I like about that is, as a lead, it gives me just enough pause that I will remember the callback. And it won't be spam. It'll just give me like that 5 seconds to be like, I got to trigger a different part of my brain and remember why I have this problem. So when I'm getting a callback, it helps me be more comfortable like paying them money. Like if I filled out a form that was like for a bike shop and it's like, I really want to lose 10 to 15 pounds and I can't do shoulder presses at the bench or bench press anymore because my shoulder hurts and I need a better way of doing it. That triggers something else in my brain. That's a problem, right? That's not me trying to get a bike or like go on a trip or a ride for free. That's a problem. And when the guy calls me, he can say like, so tell me about your shoulder and why biking would help you out. And all of a sudden I got to qualify for his permission to buy a bike from him, which is like totally different than what we normally expect.
And it fixes, because a lot of businesses are not good at sales, or their staff is not good at sales. And so I was like, don't think of it as sales. They told you their problem, call them and solve it. Do you believe that cryotherapy solves back pain? You do? I hope you do, because you just invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into a business doing that. So yes,
Yeah.
you do. Okay, cool. Call this person and help them solve their problem. And then all of a sudden, it's not a sales conversation anymore for them. They're solving problems. They're helping people. So they're more comfortable. Their results are better. Then they're happier, and they keep paying me to keep me on, because that's a completely different conversation than I'm sending you leads that you have to hunt down, who may or may not be real people, who may or may not have forgotten that they filled something out on Facebook and may or may not want to talk to you.
That's absolutely fantastic. Like, that's a $10,000 lesson right there. Like, just adding
Boom.
one extra question. Yeah, just dropping mic through. I've never seen anybody actually do that, by the way. Like in real life, like they drop a mic.
I don't typically like have a microphone that I carry around, so I don't have anything to drop. Like, drop my
That's
phone.
so funny. But yeah, like that is an amazingly powerful lesson. And I think I'm gonna start implementing that into like my campaigns, because like there's always the conversation about like lead quality and all that. And I'm doing CQ surveys, welcome text, I'm paying a VA to call everybody back. Just having that like that 5-second pause makes the lead much more open to a sales conversation, and makes the business owner much more open to having a problem solving conversation. And that's where the money is made, which is like absolutely fantastic.
And the objection you'll get from the business owner is they'll say, people aren't going to fill that out. And I say, oh, really? They're like, people aren't going to put their personal information like that into a messenger bot. They know that's a robot. And I was like, really? And then I showed them all the screenshots of people divulging so much personal health information to a robot in Messenger. And I was like, really? Because I now have over 10,000 leads that say otherwise. Like, because at this point, I've generated well over 10,000 using Messenger, and they're all pre-qualified. So it's like, really, I'll just show you this screenshot of this person being like, I had a baby and I had so much tummy fat and it's really upsetting me. And I have this wedding that I'm going to in July. Can you help me like freeze the fat on my stomach to make that go away? It's like, yeah, that's a lot of personal information. Now you know exactly what to talk to them about on the phone. And then you know exactly what to talk about when they come in the door.
Abby, where have you been hiding this information? Like, that is like a $10,000 lesson that you all got to listen in on. Like, that is like hilariously powerful. Well done. Very well done. That's very, very cool. Patting yourself on the back. Right? What I would like to know is how your acting career like helps you provide like a level of confidence that comes out when you're having those conversations. Because like, if you don't know what to say or how to say it, like very often you have to be trained on it. That's just how the world works. Like sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. But when you're having that like heated conversation, like are you taking, what is it like when you just make stuff up on the spot, like that training behind it? I totally forget. It's not ad-libbing. Improv classes, like speaking to a camera, like are there things that like you've gone through that it made you more capable as an agency owner, like, I don't know, video content outreach, something like that?
Yeah, I do a lot of video ads, and I do help coach my clients through those. So I'll help them like break down kind of like bullets of what they need to do, how I want them to film them. If my clients are local, sometimes I'll just go in with my iPhone and I'll like coach them through it to help them get good videos. And then in terms of myself, like I think one of the biggest things is like, I think they hire me because they like me. Like it's not because I'm the only person in the world that does Facebook ads. It's like, I think that's like one of the biggest things is like the more that you're able to show up like as your authentic, charismatic self, treat them like a human, be charismatic, be personable, like they're going to hire you because it's you and because you're not somebody else. And so I do try to like approach it, and, you know, even like opening up with them, like having vulnerable conversations. If they're a business owner and they've sunk like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars into their business and it's not going well, there's a lot to that. Like there's a lot of like emotional stuff connected to that, and being like open to like show up and have that conversation with them of like how this is affecting their life and how they're not even paying themselves in their business yet. Like that's vulnerable. And so for me, I think like my acting and performing background and, you know, being doing a lot of interviews and like just having to like relate to people and be extroverted and stuff in a lot of circumstances allows me to be able to like show up and have those conversations. And when they feel heard and like you care, and I do care, then they're so much more likely to hire me than somebody else. And if somebody doesn't feel that way, then we're probably not the best fit anyway.
That's fantastic. That's so effing cool. Are you open to the idea of having like 3 or 4 strategy sessions with people that want to take a next step with you and like pick your brain for like 15 minutes at a time and things like that?
Never. No way,
Never.
Jeff.
No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. No, thank you.
Right? I'm very, very busy. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
Very cool. So ladies and gents, if Abby has helped you, or if you think by having another conversation with Abby, she will help you move forward, be more confident with your clients, figure out a next step, how to prove your leads are legit, like all the fun stuff that you wish that you like could wrap your head around and you want to like accelerate your results and shortcut your learning process, just hashtag Abby my face, and Abby and I will pick 3 people to have either a one-on-one 15-minute or a group 15-minute call. And you can take a next step that way. I think she'd be more than happy to coach you on how to have conversations with the clients, how to be more confident, how to take that next step and be vulnerable with somebody who wants to be vulnerable too, so that they like you and ultimately will pay you more money. And she knows how to do cryotherapy damn well, which is like pretty effing cool, I think.
Yeah. And if you're somebody who's struggling to build your agency on the side of a full-time job, or you have kids, or you're in school full-time and you're having a hard time finding that balance, those would also be people that I'd be happy to help, because I was able to build it on the side of a full-blown career.
That's so effing cool. And now I'm not going to ask how many dollars, we'll just say it's north of 10,000 a month, but your side gig agency now makes as much money as people wish they had with their full-time job.
Yeah.
Ain't that cool, right? Ain't that
it's cool.
Cool.
So I got this shirt.
That's so true. I think we're gonna bring this to a close. But I think like you're an absolutely fantastic human being. I think you're doing a lot of cool stuff. I most recently, by the way, saw you in a Toyota commercial.
Honda.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Jeff, no.
I don't know anything about cars.
I'm gonna get fired. Don't call it Toyota.
Oh no. I actually drive a Honda Civic. I should have known that. That's so funny. Let me rephrase. I actually saw you in a Honda commercial, which is awesome, right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, okay, great. Let's just pretend that part didn't happen. Which is like absolutely fantastic. And ladies and gents, we're going to stay on the line for like 2 or 3 more minutes. If you got any specific questions, now is the time. If not, no big deal. Just be sure to hashtag Abby my face. And you'll get a group PM between me and her over the weekend. We'll make sure you're set and taken care of. But yeah, so you've been in the IC for just like over a year now. You've been using things like sneaky surveys, welcome texts. You've been nailing like offers and getting ultimately people to pay you money more and more over time. So what does like your agency look like in 3, 6, 9 months? Do you want to get this thing up to like wherever it is, to like moving in the right direction? Or are you like comfortable with it as it is because it gives you that freedom to actually pursue your full-time acting career? Like what's the next step for Abby's agency?
Yeah, I mean, the next step and the step that I've been in the process of is actually taking my hands out of a lot of the stuff. So I maintain the client relation stuff because that's what I really enjoy. But I have a team that helps now with actually running the ads and then keeping an eye on Messenger. So that's been a big part for me. And all the times that I've kind of looked at scaling it up more, I just have such great retention with my current clients and I like them. And so, I'm pretty comfortable with where it's at right now. And I have another business I'm focusing on as well, because I'd love to have as many plates in the air, spinning plates as possible.
More spinning plates, please. That'd be great.
Give me 3 businesses. So I have my course and coaching program in addition to this. And so I still love the agency stuff and I still get energized when I hop on a call and fix a problem for my clients. So I'm not ready to like totally be done with it, but yeah, I'm building out my team so that it's able to run more smoothly without me. And then I can do the client relationship stuff, which is the part that I enjoy the most.
That's fantastic. So we're gonna answer this one question and bring it to a close. Megan says, what was the first big aha moment you had with your agency? Like that big change, that big lesson early on where you're like, oh my God, this is real. And for me, by the way, it was my bike shop when I saw people like like those like lead notifications, like somebody signed up. And then like the day later, my bike shop was like, hey, Harvey came in. I was like, oh my God, I did that. Like I did that. He signed up and he walked in, right? So like, do you have like that big aha moment for you and your agency in your career?
Yeah. One of the most exciting moments for me was one of my first clients. They had their first month actually operating at a profit from hiring me. And
that's so cool.
They hadn't been in business for over a year and they were operating at a loss. And from work in the first 6 weeks of working with me, they had their first month where they were actually like at profit. And so I was like, whoa, I was like, this is really cool. And it was able to like shift my perspective again, like I said, away from sales into like, I'm helping people and solving problems. And that just made it so much more enjoyable for me. And I just love seeing them win.
That's so awesome. Very well done. We're going to bring this to a close. Abby, don't hang up. We're going to debrief real fast. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been Abby Walla talking about cryotherapy, restaurants, being confident on camera,
donuts,
from zero to donuts and all that fun stuff, and Oscar as well. So ladies and gents, kick some ass, take some names.